What is your name and position at Hamilton?
So my name is Bill Dowsland, and I'm the superintendent of schools.
Very nice. And so before you became the superintendent, you held multiple positions here at Hamilton. Could you tell us about some of the ones you had and how they helped you get to where you are today?
Sure. So I started 24 years ago at Hamilton as a substitute phys ed teacher. And then I transitioned from a substitute teacher to elementary phys ed. And then I was elementary and middle school, high school phys ed. Then I was phys ed health teacher. Then I was the athletic director. Then I was the assistant principal athletic director. Then I was a middle school, high school principal, and now superintendent. And what I would say for each one of those positions, they provided a wealth of knowledge as far as the overall operation of the district. And it allowed me to see the district in many different lenses that has then transitioned into my current position as superintendent. I think to be an effective leader, especially in the superintendency, you have to have a clear understanding of all facets of the operation. And, from a teaching and learning side, being able to have experience in all of those positions has really shaped me into who I am today. So I think it's been really beneficial.
And what was it like transitioning to becoming the superintendent, especially with the difficult times because of the pandemic?
It's just day-to-day survival. Is the only way I can say it right now, because you just don't know. Every day you enter the building, you don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to have a positive case? Are people going to have to be quarantined? What is going to be the social emotional health of the building? So there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of uncertainty with leading a district through a global pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. What is something that's been difficult because of the pandemic that people might not expect?
From my position, I think people don't have an understanding of the amount of paperwork and reporting that is required of the superintendent on a day-to-day basis. So we have state reports through the State Department of Health, the State Education Department, that have to be conducted every single day. Who's in the building, who's not in the building, number of people that have been tested, number of positive cases, if you have any. The list of reports just goes on and on and on to the health department and the state education department.
Wow. And now, finally, for the question that everybody's been waiting for me to ask. It is not a softball question. Do you think we'll be able to have a tennis season this year?
Oh, Bergen, I know that tennis is near and dear to your heart, and I would love to say yes. I just don't know at this time. And I understand the disappointment that all of our student athletes have had to this point. There's nothing more than we want our student athletes out competing, but we have to do it in a safe and healthy manner. And right now we're just waiting on guidance from the governor. He will answer that question for us, whether we can have a sports season or not, especially during the winter season, because they're deemed high risk. So we'll see how winter goes, and then we'll be able to answer your question about tennis and all the other spring sports at a later date. So my fingers are crossed, and I'm holding out hope for you, buddy.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Monica Chamberlain. I teach 6th grade at Hamilton Central, and I've done so for the past 8 years. I'm also the modified girls basketball coach, going on 5 years. It's one of my favorite parts of being at Hamilton, getting to know the kids out of the classroom and on the court. For me, my biggest challenge so far this year has had to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's not necessarily the struggle of the hybrid learning, but it's more so the fact that I don't feel like I've been able to really get to know my kids as much as I usually do, because we're not in the classroom as much.